Cleveland, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals just turned more intriguing. The Cleveland Cavaliers don't want to go down 3-1, and the Boston Celtics don't want to head back to Boston with the series tied 2-2. After Cleveland's 116-86 victory over Boston in Game 3 on Saturday, one of those scenarios will develop. For as bad as the Cavaliers looked in 6 quarters through the first 2 games in Boston, they were equally as good in Game 3. The Cavs took control of the game early, leading 32-13 in the first quarter and 61-38 in the second quarter. LeBron James, who had 27 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals and 2 blocks, is now 7-0 in Games 3 and 4 after losing the first 2 games of a series against Eastern Conference opponents. You can bend the stats in any team's favor. Teams that go up 2-0 in series, as Boston did, are 281-19, and the Celtics are 37-0 all-time in series in which they took a 2-0 lead. But at the very least, Cleveland wants Game 4 so it turns the series into a best-of-3. Game 4 is Monday in Cleveland, 8:30 p.m. ET, ESPN. Here's how it happened. 1. LeBron James, passing wizard. Defense came easy, at least easier, for James in Game 3 than the previous 2 games against Boston. The Cavs needed his scoring. He was an efficient 8 for 12 from the field, but it was his passing that gave Cleveland its best offensive performance in the conference finals. James, who was 3 for 3 on 3-pointers, carved up Boston's defense with his precision passing, finding Tristan Thompson and Larry Nance Jr. for dunks, and George Hill, J.R. Smith. Kevin Love, 13 points, 14 rebounds, and Kyle Korver, 14 points, for 3-pointers. His assists led to 30 Cavs points. Cleveland found success with player movement, leading to easier interior buckets and open 3-point shots. Boston will look to eliminate that in Game 4. 2. Turnovers, poor shooting doomed Celtics. Boston had 5 turnovers in Game 2. It had 7 in the first half of Game 3 and finished with 15. Shooting didn't help either. The Celtics were just 29 for 74 from the field, 39.2%, including 6 for 22 on threes, 27.3%. The Cavs are at their best when they're pushing the pace after an opponent's turnover and missed shots. And they had several opportunities to do that with the Celtics struggling offensively. Cleveland also did a much better job minimizing Al Horford's effectiveness. Horford had 7 points, 7 rebounds and 4 assists, but was not the factor he was in Games 1 and 2. Marcus Smart was 2 for 9 shooting, Jaylen Brown 3 for 8 and Marcus Morris 2 for 8. 3. Cleveland's backcourt finds success. In Games 1 and 2, Cleveland's backcourt of George Hill and J.R. Smith were outscored 72-12 by Boston guards Terry Rozier and Jaylen Brown. Hill and Smith combined for 19 points in the first half in their best game of the series. Hill finished with 13 points and Smith had 11, and they were 6 for 13 on threes. 4. Boston on the road. Celtics coach Brad Stevens said that his team's 1-4 road playoff record before Game 5 was too small of a sample size to make definitive conclusions. Now, Boston is 1-5 on the road this postseason. I also think that it's hard to win on the road in the playoffs. Look around the league, right? Stevens said. I'm not losing sleep over where we're playing right now. I just want to play well. Obviously, when you're playing on the road and the crowd is involved and everything else, they get going in transition, they get effort plays. They add energy in that regard, hit a bunch of threes. You have to be alert to that and try your best to manage that momentum. But the best way to manage it is to play well. 5. Cavs get a 3-point boost. Through the first 2 games against Boston, the Cavaliers made just 25.6% of their 3-pointers, including a 4 for 26 effort in Game 1. In Game 4, Cleveland made 17 for 34 3-pointers. James often mentions how important threes are to Cleveland's offense, and when the Cavs make threes at that rate, they are tough to beat, especially at home.